The Curse of Evermore. One misty evening, Julian Carter, an avid traveler and amateur historian, wandered off the beaten path while hiking through the countryside. His GPS failed to find a way out, and as dusk fell, he stumbled upon a quaint town nestled in a valley. "Welcome to Evermore," read a wooden sign. The town was charming but strangely quiet. Cobblestone streets snaked around quaint cottages with dimly lit windows. A few townspeople wandered about, smiling politely, but with an odd emptiness in their eyes. Seeking shelter, Julian approached a cozy inn and was greeted by an elderly innkeeper named Agnes. "Travelers are rare here," she said warmly, handing him a key. "Stay the night, but remember, things are different in Evermore." Curious, Julian pressed her for more details, but Agnes just smiled mysteriously and walked away. That night, Julian wandered through town. The streets were eerily silent, and the townspeople he encountered seemed unusually lost. A man stared at a flower as if he were seeing it for the first time, while a woman traced patterns in the dirt with childish wonder. Julian tried to strike up conversations, but their answers were vague. The next morning, Julian woke up to chaos. The townspeople ran around in confusion and disarray. Agnes didn't recognize him, and she couldn't remember their conversation. "Who are you?" she asked, genuinely puzzled. Julian quickly realized that something was wrong with the townspeople. Everyone in town had forgotten their memories of the previous day. Names, relationships, even their personal history had been erased. Only he, an outsider to the town, remembered. Determined to unravel the mystery, Julian set out to explore Evermore. He discovered a diary kept by the townspeople, where they documented their days in an attempt to hold on to their identities. "I think my name is Jack," one participant said. "I like bread, but I don't know why." Another simply said, "Who am I?" Julian found a faded map in the small town library, marked with an X on a nearby hill. He decided to investigate, suspecting that it held the key to Evermore's curse. At the top of the hill was an ancient obelisk covered in strange symbols. As Julian studied it, he heard Agnes's voice behind him. "You found it," she said, with an unusual expression on her face. Julian turned, startled. "Do you remember this place?" "Not exactly," she replied. "Every night we forget, but there's always a feeling, like a whisper in my heart." Agnes explained that the obelisk was tied to the town's fate, but no one knew why or how. Julian spent days deciphering the obelisk, gathering clues from the journals he found. Finally, he uncovered the truth. The town had been cursed centuries ago by an old wizard. The curse ensured that they would live only in the present moment, devoid of regret or plans, but also devoid of continuity and meaning. As Julian prepared to break the curse, he hesitated. During his days in Evermore, he had noticed something remarkable. Despite their lack of memory, the townspeople lived each day with childlike wonder. They appreciated life's small joys, a sunrise, a melody, a kind gesture, without the burden of past mistakes or future worries. Julian realized that the curse was both a punishment and a gift. He chose not to break it. Instead, he left a message engraved on the obelisk: "To live perfectly, embrace the present. The past is a lesson. The future is a dream. But the present moment is where life happens." With a heavy heart, Julian left Evermore and resumed his travels. The town's lesson stayed with him forever. Moral of the story: while our memories and plans shape our thoughts and personalities, they can also trap us. Dwelling too much on the past leads to regret, and obsessing over the future fosters anxiety. Life is fleeting, and the only time we truly have is now. While it is important to learn from the past and dream of the future, neither should overshadow the beauty.